He waited alone on Christmas, then a stranger stepped off the train. The station clock clicked toward midnight, each second echoing louder than the last in the empty hall. Snow pressed itself against the tall glass windows like it wanted inside, swirling in slow, tired circles. Christmas lights blinked above the platform, their colors dimmed by neglect, and somewhere far down the track, a single bell rang and fell silent again. Daniel Harper sat alone on the wooden bench, hands wrapped around a paper cup that had long gone cold. He hadn't bothered to drink it. The warmth wasn't what he was waiting for. Christmas had always meant noise once, laughter, plates clinking, his wife humming off-key while decorating the tree, his daughter dancing around the living room with tinsel tangled in her hair. Now it meant silence. 3 years had passed since the accident, but grief didn't understand calendars. It showed up uninvited, especially on nights like this. Daniel had told himself he was only here to honor a tradition, something he and his daughter used to do when she was little, watching the trains arrive on Christmas Eve, pretending each one carried a miracle. But as the last passengers drifted away and the station emptied, he knew the truth. He wasn't honoring anything. He was hiding. The loudspeaker crackled, announcing the final arrival. Daniel didn't look up at first. He had already decided this would be the last Christmas he tried to feel anything. Then the train hissed to a stop, steam rising like a ghost into the frozen air. Doors slid open. A few figures stepped down, bundled in coats, moving quickly toward waiting cars. And then, from the last carriage, someone hesitated. It was a woman. Mid-30s, maybe. She stood still on the platform, clutching a worn suitcase, scanning the station as if she were searching for something, or someone, she wasn't sure existed. Her coat was too thin for the weather. Snow settled into her dark hair. For reasons Daniel couldn't explain, he stood up. She noticed him watching and offered a small, uncertain smile. "Excuse me," she said, her voice soft but steady. "Is this the last stop?" Daniel nodded. "It is." She exhaled slowly, like she'd been holding her breath for miles. "Good," she said. "Then I didn't miss it." Something in her tone, relief mixed with fear, made him ask the question he hadn't spoken to a stranger in years. "You waiting for someone?" She shook her head. "I was hoping I wouldn't be." They stood there, snow falling between them, two strangers bound by the same empty night. Her name was Clara. She'd come back after 10 years away, answering a letter she'd almost thrown away. Daniel didn't share much, only that he used to wait here every Christmas with his daughter. When Clara asked why he still came alone, his throat tightened. "Because leaving would mean it's really over," he said. The station lights flickered. Somewhere in the distance, church bells began to ring. Clara looked around, then back at Daniel. "I don't have anywhere to go," she admitted. "And I don't want to be alone tonight." Daniel hesitated, the weight of his old life pressing against the door of his chest. Then he heard his daughter's laughter in his memory, clear as a bell. He picked up his coat. "There's coffee at my place," he said quietly. "And a tree that still lights up." Clara smiled, and for the first time that night, Daniel felt something warm stir beneath the grief. And neither of them noticed that Christmas had already begun to work its quiet magic. Daniel's house smelled faintly of pine and dust, like a memory that refused to fade. Clara stood in the doorway, unsure, until Daniel gestured her inside. The Christmas tree glowed softly in the corner, ornaments untouched since the last time his daughter had hung them. Clara traced one with her finger. "You kept everything," she whispered. "Some things," Daniel replied. Because forgetting felt worse. They sat at the small kitchen table, coffee steaming between them, the clock ticking toward Christmas morning. Slowly, stories spilled out. Clara spoke of running away after her father disowned her, of years spent drifting from city to city, pretending she didn't care. The letter that brought her back had been short. 3 words. "I'm sorry. Come home." "I didn't know if home still existed," she said, eyes shining. Daniel understood that feeling better than he wanted to admit. He told her about his wife, about the accident, about the day his daughter's laughter vanished from the world. Clara listened without interrupting, her presence steady, grounding. Outside, snow piled higher. Inside, something began to thaw. When the clock struck midnight, church bells rang again, louder now. Clara stood and looked at Daniel. "Thank you for not letting me be alone tonight," she said. He smiled, a real smile, the first in years. "Thank you for reminding me that I don't have to be." As dawn crept in, pale and gentle, Clara found the courage to visit her father. Daniel drove her to the edge of town, the silence between them no longer heavy but full. Before she stepped out of the car, she turned to him. "Sometimes," she said, "a stranger is just family you haven't met yet." Christmas morning arrived quietly. Daniel returned home, expecting the familiar ache. Instead, he felt peace. Later that day, his phone buzzed. A message from Clara. He opened the door. He cried. "We're trying again." Daniel sat by the window, watching the snow fall, heart full in a way he thought was impossible. He finally understood what his daughter used to say, that miracles didn't always come wrapped the way you expected. Sometimes, they stepped off a train on the loneliest night of the year. If this story touched your heart, remember, there are countless stories like this waiting to be told. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful, emotional journeys that remind us we're never truly alone. Because sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one stranger, and one Christmas to change everything. Christmas tree sparkles.